It could have broke tomorrow, which would have been twice as worse. Right. It's gonna break. It might as well break now. Alrighty, guys, welcome. This is Zero Tidy Jester. We're ready to play Space Infantry Resurgence by Lock and Load Publishing. So it's did a live unboxing and read through the rules. It's not really that complex. It is kind of, you know, a procedural thing, so I needed to figure out exactly what, if since I was gonna do like a one-off just campaign mission, I wanted to do like an actual campaign. There's a structure. There's a structure to it. You're basically, when you're in charge of, well, I'll show you here in a second, but you're in charge of a squad. So you have to manage your squad. You have to know who's on the mission. You're going to lose people. Which people you lose. You're going to need to know how many resources you're getting in. How you get your new units coming on. So a lot of management for that stuff. I just needed to figure out how to do all that stuff ahead of time. I'm not saying I know everything. Certainly not. But I'm just saying we got a good idea. I've played a lot of games and I kind of understand the basic concepts when I look at games. And I understand the basic concepts. I might miss things here or there, but if I do, leave a comment down below so we can update everyone. So let's get to it. Space Infantry Resurgence, Lock and Load Publishing. A lot to talk about with this game, but we'll get to that. Let's go ahead and set the scene for you now. So, obviously, if you're unfamiliar with this, it's basically a management game. The campaign is a management of your space marines. Now we're all out of focus. Woo! Whoa, camera. There we go. So it's kind of a management, kind of like a DVG leader series where you're managing your squads and your units and everything, and you're putting them on missions, and you're keeping track of who's dead, who's wounded, who's been, needs to recuperate, and then you're sending them out on missions to do different things. So it's kind of that's general feel to it. So let's go ahead and get into it. So here it is, bling, in all of its glory. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick a campaign. For us, we went with the simplest, easiest, introductory kind of campaign. I think there's 5 or 6 different ones that come in the base game. Oh, and before we actually start on this, all right, which is super cool about Space Infantry, and I do want to spend just a minute talking about it, right? Is that you can find a way to find something that you would like in this game, because you can just do one-off missions. You can create missions yourself. You can just do one-off missions. You can do campaigns, which we're going to be doing. There's all kinds of different campaigns. There's cooperative mode in this, and there's also competitive mode. So if you want to have if you want to have your friend play the enemies against you, there's actually competitive mode. There's a horde mode where the two of you can get in and protect the base against just endless hordes of enemies coming at you. There's lots of different enemies to play. So what I'm saying is there's lots of different ways to play this game. All right, there's not just like one, like when you buy a normal game, there's like one way to play it. There's lots of different ways. There's probably a way you can find that if you're playing solo, which this game is designed solo first and foremost, but you can add a second player to do some of the other modes. So if you're a solo player and you're looking for a nice space infantry type game, combat game, you might want to look at this game because, like I said, there's lots of different ways to play the damn thing. You want to manage your resources, and you want to manage your units, and you want to manage your squads, and you want to manage your missions and do all that stuff. Then you do the campaign. If you don't want to, then you can just create random missions every time. And then to adjust the difficulty is super good because you can adjust how many points you spend with your guys to go on missions because each one of your guys costs a certain amount of points. So if you want to make it harder, you just have less points to bring guys on the mission. If you want to make it a little bit easier, you can add extra points to get more guys on the mission. So, of course, the different AI enemies you're playing against. Some of them are a little bit easier. Some of them are a lot tougher. There's bosses that you can go up against that take multiple different ways to attack them to get them and knock them down. So I'm just saying there's a lot of different ways to play it. We're just going to look at one way, and that's the campaign way, just to kind of introduce it to everyone and kind of show you what is involved with this. Again, I'm certainly not saying I'm an expert at this game. I'm just saying I've read the rules. I kind of understand the concept. I might miss a finger here or there. Not only that, but I'm going to play it my way because I want to enjoy it my way. Like I said, you might want to do it something differently, your way. You can download the rules for free at the Lock and Load Publishing website. There's lots of files that you can download. It gives you information. There's actually a way to create your own missions, random missions, and all kinds of different stuff on the support section at Lock and Load Publishing. You can check it out. You don't need to go and buy it to find out if you want it. You can go download the rules and read the rules and see if it's something for you. You can watch this playthrough and see if it's something for you. But like I said, there's lots of different ways we're going to be playing through the campaign. All right, so with all that said, this is what we got here. We got Campaign 001, Prelude to War, Nexus Flashpoint. Our second interstellar war came roughly 40 years after First Contact. We managed to build and continue our expanse into the galaxy. When we encountered more alien races, we were instantly the runt among giants, and they ran the show out there. We did our best to try to integrate, but 2 years after First Contact, HICOM received an anonymous tip. The xenotypes were nearly wiping us out. They were sent by one of those who'd hoped to call friends. We chased the lead down into tunnels beneath the Nexus hubs to try and confirm it. If it was true, the new kid was going to pick a fight. So basically, nice little intro story, basically saying, we're new to this galaxy, inner galaxy and races and stuff, and we would like to find some friends out there, but people are not friendly with us. It shows you how many missions you're going to be taking and what level the alert level is. So our first mission here, and you can see mission 1 is going to be A. There's A, alert level 1, 2, and 3, as you can see here. So the first couple missions, we're going to have alert level 1. Next couple is going to be alert level 2, and then finally alert level 3. And 4, to decide which one of the missions you play, you use this mission deck area over here. You're basically going to create a mission deck from all of the different mission cards. You're going to get out all the mission cards that it says here, and you're going to create your campaign deck and shuffle them all up, and it's going to tell you which mission you're going to go on, and you're going to draw one, and that is going to be your mission. For us, it just happens to be mission S001. It's a surface type mission. Our objective is to explore all 3 mission nodes. If we were in alert level 2, we might have some adjustment to that, where our event strings are going to increase. And if we're in alert level 3, we're going to draw from the mission deck until you reveal an encounter. Resolve it immediately after setting up your current missions, then reshuffle all drawn cards back into the deck. Again, making it tougher because the alert level's up. So we're starting off easier in this campaign. A little bit easier. Hey, Blue Tweezers. Hey, Phoenix Knight. How you doing? No big plans. No big plans at all for us. Thanks for asking. Hopefully everyone has a good Thanksgiving week. I am off work today, so that's a good thing. Blue Tweezers is in the house. He's checking out our campaign here. So you're going to build the mission deck based upon what it says here, and you're going to draw a card for mission 1. We, as I mentioned, drew, it just so happens we drew mission S001. That won't always work that way for you guys. As you can see, we could have drawn S001, S002, H001, S003, H003, or H002. Or we could have drawn a random event. So that is going to be our different missions, and we would write that down on this sheet, but I'm not going to do that because this is the one that came in the box. This is the one that came in the box. So I didn't get a chance to, but you can download the campaign sheets here from the Lock and Load website, and you can print these out, and you have a spare copy that you can use. And you can see here is the sheet here, and so you can see here's the 51st company, and we could actually print this out and fill it all in and all that information if we wanted. Oops, you guys can't see that because it's on the wrong screen. There we go. So here's the screen. Here's the sheet. And you can see it comes with all the different companies that you can create. And it even comes with a blank one, so you can create your own company, right? Which is super cool. And so that's how that's done. The game comes with, I think, 4 different companies already pre-built, and it shows you. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Comes with 3 or 4. I forget how many of these companies it comes with. Oh, and I have to switch back to the. There we go. Hey, I'm doing good, Keith. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. So this is our squad. Right, so what you're going to do is you're going to grab all your different core units and your support units and your vehicles, and it's going to give you information about the squad, just kind of some backstory about it. The 51st Company was the first to deploy during the First Contact War. They had been involved in every major incident since then, and such have been awarded many honors, more honors than any other company. So, and then there's company traits that you can get, bonuses for your different squads, full strength, eagle eye, deadly strike, parry, and then space infantry traits that you can earn for your company as you progress through the campaign, as they earn experience points. So everyone that comes is, it's going to be kind of generic. And I don't want to write on this because I didn't print out the new sheet yet, so I'm gonna have to take this into work, and I didn't do that yet, so I'm not gonna write all over this sheet and everything. I'm just gonna keep track on a spare sheet until I can get a copy of this. Again, this is on kind of the thick cardboard stock paper, so I don't want to just write on it and just destroy it right off the bat. I want to make some copies of it before I do that. Like I said, you can download a copy of this from the Lock and Load website. But before I do that, I'm not going to write on this. So just letting you guys know, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently, because normally you would write down all your names and your status and earnings and experience points and how much they cost and all that stuff down on this sheet. But we're just gonna keep that separate. All right, so we have our campaign, which is, again, Prelude to War, Campaign 001. You're going to set up the mission deck, which we did, and then you're going to draw a random mission, which we did previously to starting the video because I thought it would be a little easier and get everything set up. And what you're going to do is you're going to mash up mission number to whatever your objective is, and then you're going to build your map based upon each one of these locations. It's going to tell you what kind of location it is. This happens to be a passageway. This happens to be an indoor. This happens to be a mission number card. And each one of the spaces on your map is going to tell you, and you're going to shuffle those decks up. And you can see I've already put the extra cards away, but there's tons of extra cards. You can see here's underground. And so you're going to just find the ones that fit, and you're going to shuffle them up, and you're going to put out a passage one, and you're going to put it out an indoor one, and etc. And you're going to fill out your map with all the different location cards on there. And of course, you're going to have your starting location, which is, we're going to be over here in the outdoor area. And you can see there's a little story here about what's going on with this mission. So mission S001 is called Crimson Striker. One of our deep range science stations has gone dark. 3 cycles, we send an overlay. 4 cycles, we send you guys. Gear up and report back in when the Neros have stopped talking. So basically, think of the Aliens movie where they went out to find out why that location was stopped transpondering back and forth. And our job is basically do the same thing. We're going out to find out why the scientists that have landed on this planet are no longer sending signals back and forth, because obviously they've been under attack. So, so I'm going to show you this for just because, for those of you that are trying to maybe set up a campaign. All right, and all right. So if you're interested in a campaign, there is. Where is it? All right, campaign setup. So these are the things you're going to do, and we're just going to go through them step by step. So you're going to select a campaign sheet, which we talked about. We already did. You're going to determine the enemy race. Now, that's one thing we haven't talked about. Well, we have done it. Over there is our enemy race. So let me show you who we're going to be up against. We're going to be up against the Cybirds. Cybirds. An unholy machine race from outside our solar system. We know little about them, save that they have used our dead and dying to fuel for new and more deadly abominations. Worse, every one of these new horror remains conscious but unable to act. Their brains are used for their killing knowledge and battlefield experience, with their personality only along for the ride. The only mercy you can give them is a single shot, center mass. And of course, gives you all the information. We'll cover that when we get to it, about how the game uses these guys against us. And of course, with these guys comes all the different units that we're going to be fighting against, and all their stats and all that, which comes on these cards. So you're going to select the enemy race, and you're going to get all their cards out. Boom. There we go. Then we're going to select a roster street, which, again, we did that. We're doing J Squad, 51st Company. There we go. All right. We're going to set the alert level based upon our mission, which, again, our alert level is going to be 1 for mission number 1. We're going to create the mission decks, which we did, again, based upon our cards that are told to be put into our mission deck. And then we're going to create our stat op deck. Our stat op deck, which we hadn't talked about yet, that's our strategic options deck. And we shuffle that up. And these are all like things that will help us get extra resources and stuff, blah, blah, blah. So we create our stack op deck, and then we get our command bonus. For us, we actually drew some of the stat op deck already, and we got ourselves a heavy battle suit. So we place 2 multi-purpose counters on this card during combat. After assigning wounds, you may spend 1 counter to remove 1 wound, or AP wound counter just assigned. You may spend any amount of multi-purpose counters at a time. If there are more counters on this card, then if there are no counters on this card, then discard it. And the second one is +1 Intel resource. You gain 1 additional Intel resource during resource selection. This does not increase the maximum amount of resources you can have during a mission. You can take this setup with a +2 resources or maximum 9 resource stat up card. Plus, it's given us a green recruit, so we can replace if one of our squads ends up biting it in this mission, then we can always get a new green recruit to replace them later on in. You can notice this is the rest of our, again, based upon our company that we got. We're going to get us a fire team A. We're going to get fire team B. We're going to get assault team A. We're going to get assault team B. We're going to get the CQC. We're going to get a shotgun unit, a sniper unit, a heavy weapons unit, 0G Team A and 0G Team B plus our Plenum vehicle. Those are all the different cards that we will add to our company. Plus, of course, our snipers, engineers, explorers, medics, technology, scientists, and demonologists. Demonologists, however you say it. All right. So these are all the cards for our squad. This is what we're going to start with. Now, as we play the missions, some of these guys might be injured, might be damaged, might be wounded, might be killed. We're going to need replacements. That's where some of these cards that you draw from your strategic options deck will replace some of those guys that get killed along the way. So how do we do this? Each one of the maps is set up slightly differently, but in this case, the objective here, as you can't read, but it's up here in the corner, says we need to explore all 3 mission nodes. So if we look at these, you will notice that there is some of these areas are orange, some are white, some are green, different colored, but these are the mission nodes. So this is mission card number 1. There is a mission card over here, and where was the other mission? Here it is, right there. So we have to explore. We have to get to those 3 spots to find out what's going on with our scientists to complete this mission. The only way, obviously, to get and move around is to travel from location to the next location. So we need to come in, well, we don't have to. We can come over this way or whatever, but I'm thinking we come into this building, we come down this way, we find out this location, and then we can loop around and come to here, maybe cut across and get up to that location. So that's our goal. That's what we're going to try and do. We have a certain amount of time to do that. That's where this track over here is. You can see we have 30 turns basically to take care of it. All right, then we're going to outfit ourselves with our current units that we're taking. We always take the squad leader, because without a leader, you are nothing. So we've taken the squad leader with us, and then you get 110 points to spend based upon the difficulty you want for your campaign. You can adjust it up or down to make it easier or harder. I'm going with standard 110 points. 110 points. So I got a heavy weapons team that costs 30, a fire team A that costs 20, an assault team that costs 20, a scientist that costs 10, a demonologist which costs 10, and an assault team B which costs 20. And of course our squad leader which costs us 0. So that is who we're taking on this mission. Now, you can see that each of these different locations are going to cost basically actions for our team to get from location to location. So you can see we're going to start outside or outdoors, and we're going to move into either building 1 or either building 2. We cannot take obviously our vehicle into buildings. So we don't need to bring that with us here in this mission. But if you're going outside, you're doing outside missions, then you could take one of your vehicles with you. In this mission, we're going to basically the dropship's going to land us. We're going to go into the building. So we're going to go from this building, or from this location to this location, or from this location to this location. And each location will tell you what you need basically to enter it. So we need a security 3. We need 3 successes in security to get into the locations. Basically, it's time. It's using up against us time to prevent us from completing our mission, because we need 3 in security. We need 3 results for security to get into this location. So we're going to look at all of our units and see who has security. We only have actually 1 that has security. And so we're only going to be able to maybe get 1 or 2, maybe 2 successes to get into this location. It's going to take us a while for us to be able to get in that location. So, and those are the different locations down in the bottom right hand corner. It basically shows you what you need. So we need security to get in this location. We need science to get in this one. We have security to get in this location. Search, security, repair, advancing, intelligence, demonologists, climb, computer, and science. These are what we need to get through into the different locations. So, that's kind of an overview of what we're doing. If you haven't played this game, that's what we got up to us. So we got our squad. We've already assigned our squad. The next thing you can do is you assign up to 8 different resources. Resources are med kits, grenades, intel markers, which will help you get into different locations. And you can assign up to 8 of them, which you can see on the board. Now we do have this other +1 intel resource that we can add to our thing, but normally you cannot, have more than 8 unless, of course, you have this card. And the last thing we can do is actually, as we're signing everything, is since every time you go on a mission, before you go on the mission, think of your organization as basically getting you some resources to give you to help you on your so we get to draw 2 more. We have experts. We have a 15 additional XP to upgrade the skills of your specialist. Wow, that's great. We'll probably use it at the end of the mission though. And then we have platoon headquarters support. Place 4 multi-purpose counters on this card. This represents campaign points you can spend at any time during your mission. Replace the counters to track the points as you spend them. Wow. Place 4 multiple. This represents campaign points. Command points you can spend. Command points. Oh, so extra command points. And extra. Okay. Well. All right. Well, we're gonna have a thing here, aren't we? Yes, we are. We just need to get some. So we need to get some roots. Ah. And I dropped something. There we go. Alrighty. Let's see here. Let's get out the can't ever find what I'm looking for when you need it. Of course not. Alright, well, screw you then. I will use dice instead to keep track of resources. That's what I will do. Alright. Joey, yes, this is a solo. This is a solo game. Let's see here. Oops, I got it upside down. Of course I got it upside down. And I'm dropping stuff on the box. There you can see down there, solitaire playability is 10 out of 10. It's designed solo. You can some of it you can add a second player to, but most of it's designed to be solo. All right, so let's take a look at this now. So we got battle suits. We have two. We have two of our battle suits. We have command points here. And we're not going to worry about our 15 XP points. At the end of the mission, you get XPs based upon how well you did that you can use to upgrade your units. Perfect for a hermit like me, says Joey. Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so we'll worry about upgrading later because that'll be huge, getting an extra 15 points. Because you can see there's all kinds of, oops, not this one. It's gonna be this one over here. All kinds of upgrades and company traits and space infantry traits that you can get for your units. You know, extra wounds, make an extra fire attack. Melee does 2 damage instead of 1. Reroll an enemy's melee attack. Gain an extra AP. Gain an extra AP to all fire skills, melee skills, advanced skills, blah, blah, blah. So lots of different things you can spend your XP on to upgrade. Not only that, but every one of our units that you see on the board, every one of them, every single one, oops, every single one of them, and you notice I put these away, comes with an elite unit that you can upgrade it to. And you can see it's got the bars there that show its elite unit. It gives it more stats. It gives it special abilities and stuff. So every one of these, like your assault teams, your fire teams, your flame units, heavy weapons, like our heavy weapon guy, we can upgrade that, right? And get it better abilities and different special abilities and different stats. So every one of these units can be upgraded to basically what they call veteran status. And since I didn't need these cards, I put them all away to begin with because none of our units start as veteran, right? When you're playing just a regular mission, you can, when you purchase units, you can upgrade them for free. Not for free. You got to spend points to upgrade them, but you can basically buy veteran units and stuff. When you're playing the campaign, you can't do that. You have all your units start basically as rookies, right? So, and now we've got to spend XP to upgrade them so that we can upgrade them into veterans and then they'll get the better stats and all that stuff. So the only way to do that, obviously, put them on missions so they earn experience points. All right, so let's get to it. No, let's not get to it yet. Yes, are we getting to it? We are getting to it. Oh, no, we're not going to get to it just yet. Right, so I've got my stats here. I'm just basically going to put these two aside because we're taking the intel resource, right? We're adding that to our group. And then this one we're not going to use till we're done. So instead of just keeping them here in the way, I'm just going to move them aside. We know they're in our hand. Basically, think of them as they're in our hand. These cards are in our hand as well. But since these are resources I can use on the mission, I'm going to keep these cards out. The other ones we don't need. All right. So here's the last thing, guys. And this is the most important thing that I haven't talked about yet. And that is how the game does dicing in it. It's a little weird, all right? Now, with all that said, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm changing the way dice work in this game. I've already talked to the designer about this, actually. I've emailed the designer about this, and he thought it was a great idea. And he's actually going to be checking out the video because he might add this as an optional rule. So normally, this is how you normally do dice in this game. So the way I'm going to be doing it is not the way you do it normally. Normally what you do is you take 2d6, and when you roll for something, you're going to look at the black dice. And if you roll a 2, a 3, 4, or a 5, you can ignore the red dice. It doesn't matter. So if I roll a 5 and a 4, right, you just ignore this red dice at all. The only time you look at the red dice is when you roll a 6 or you roll a 1. If you roll a 6 and you roll a 1, then you look at the red dice and see if it rolled a 1 or a 2. All right? If it didn't roll a 1 or a 2, you can ignore the red dice. So if I roll a 1 and it's 3, you just ignore the red dice. You look at the red dice because I rolled a 1. But if I didn't roll a 1 or a 2, then you can ignore the red dice. What they're simulating in this is critical hits and critical failures. All right? So on critical failure, if you roll 1 on the black dice and you roll 1 or a 2 on the red dice, you've critically failed, or the enemy's critically failed its attack, or you critically failed your skill check or whatever. You basically critically failed. If you roll a 1 and then on the red dice you roll 1 or a 2, you critically failed. Same thing when you do the 6, but it's a critical hit. If you roll a 6 and you roll a 1, you critically hit. If you roll a 6 and a 1 or a 2. 6, 1, 2 is basically a critical hit. You get that? So normally, again, if you roll 2, 3, 4, or 5 on the black dice, it doesn't matter what you roll on this dice. So let's just shake them up. And we look, we rolled a 5, so it doesn't matter what we rolled on the red dice. We just end up with a 5. That's all we get, just a plain old 5. Rolled again, rolled a 3. Again, we ignore the red dice completely, doesn't matter. Unless we roll 1 or a 6 on this. Again, we can ignore the red dice because we didn't roll 1 or a 6. All right, again, if I roll a 6 and I roll a 3, that's just still a 6. Nothing special. No critical hit or anything. The only time you get a critical hit is if you roll a 6 and then the red dice is a 1 or a 2. So the red dice only matters if it ever rolls a 1 or a 2. Now, with all that said, I'm completely getting rid of this. I don't like that system at all. The other option they give you in the game is to draw numbers out of a hat. They give you all the numbers, right? So you have like a draw system. I don't like that either. You can draw numbers out of a hat. I don't like doing that. So I'm switching it over to be a 20-sided dice. And like I said, I've already talked to the designer about this. He thinks it's a great idea, and he's going to even come by and check out the video because he thinks it might be a great way to be a optional rule for people that, like myself, don't like the way they're doing their dicing in this game. So this is the way it's going to be. Just like if you're familiar with any role-playing game out there, right? Anytime you roll a 20, that's going to be a critical hit. Anytime you roll 1, that's going to be a critical failure. And then, depending on the rest of the numbers, 2, 3, or 4 is going to be equal to a 1. 5, 6, 7 is going to be equal to a 2. 8, 9, 10 is going to be equal to a 3. 11, 12, 13 is a 4. 14, 15, and 16 is a 5. 17, 18, and 19 is a 6. Critical hit on a 20, critical failure on a 1. It's very simple. It's a little bit easier than trying to keep track of these two. Not very happy. But because I'm switching this, right? Because I'm switching this, I'm also going to be using dice to keep track of what the numbers I roll. So let's say, for example, when the heavy weapons, when it's their turn, I'm going to roll for their attack, and I'm going to roll a 15. A 15 is going to be a 5. I'm going to take a 5. I'm going to put it on there, just like they rolled a 5 on a 6-sided dice, because I need to remember what they rolled, and the only way to do that is with dice. So I'm going to remember what they rolled by using these dice here So if the fire team is attacking, same thing. I roll. Oh, he rolled a 20. I rolled a critical hit. So I'm going to need a special die or special. You know what? I'll just use this little token or something. Oh, this guy's critical hit. Now I remember this guy critical hit. Let's see, our assault team is attacking. They rolled a 13. A 13 is a 4, so he rolled a 4. So that's what I'm going to be doing to keeping track of what I rolled and how I rolled it instead of using the 2d6 system that's in the game. And like I said, I've already talked to the designer about this. David Heath from Lock and Load actually sent me the designer's information, and we've been emailing back and forth about some stuff about the game, about some of the rules and how things are set up. And we're actually might even be able to get an interview with him sometime, because I actually asked him if he had a headphone and a microphone, so we can actually get him on sometime and actually talk to him about the game and find out information from him. So that'd be cool to do. So hopefully he'll be able to do that sometime. Anyways, just keep in mind, I am changing how the normal dicing is working in this game. I think it's much easier with the 20-sided dice to get the critical hits than trying to remember, because I know what's going to end up happening. I'm going to look and I'm going to be like, oh, he rolled a 6, right? And then I'm going to calculate, because based upon your number, that's the total damage you're going to do. And we'll talk about that when it happens, so that you understand how things happen. And of course, when we roll the 1, it's a critical failure, just like you would roll a 1 and a 2, or a 1 and a 1. That's a critical failure. Same thing. The odds are basically the exact same, the way I'm doing it, than the way they have designed it in the game. So the odds are the same. I'm not changing like, oh, I'm making it easier to critical hit or harder to critical hit. The odds are still the same. If you actually look at what comes in the game, there are actually 20 of these little tokens, right? 20 of these little tokens. There's 3 6s, there's 3 5s, there's 3 4s, 3 3s, 3 2s, 3 1s, and they have one. Oops. Where is it? They have one token that's an X, which is a critical hit, and they have one which is a minus, which is a critical failure. So all I'm doing is taking that system and putting it on a 20-sided dice, because there's 20 of these, right? And I'm just assigning each one of those to a 20-sided dice. That's all I'm doing. I'm not changing anything. So these guys thinking that I'm breaking anything or changing anything. I'm not changing anything. I'm basically just making it easier to use a 20-sided dice to get the result, as opposed to drawing chits out to get your result for your dice. All right? So let's get to it. Here's your sequence of play. Standard play. There is the combat. There's campaign play. The last outpost play. The horde mode. We talked about all the different ways in the beginning of this and how to play this game. There's multiple, if you guys are just joining me, there's multiple ways to play this. You can just do one-off missions, right? You can create a mission. You can assign your squads. You can assign the enemies. You can play a one-off mission. You can make it easier or difficult depending on how much you want to do. One-off missions, maybe an hour to play or whatever, and you want to be done and pack it up and be done with it. That's fine. You can play campaign, which is what we're going to be doing. You can play mission after mission after mission, where you're got to keep track of your units. You got to keep track of your resources. You got to find out who's dead, who's injured. You can't take them on the next mission. They need time to recuperate, right? So you have to figure out which guys you're going to need to go to the next mission. And you're basically managing your squads and your resources throughout the mission, right? You also have the last outpost mode. What do you make it?
You can either have a sandwich.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Another one of those.
No, that's fine. I'll have a sandwich.
Italian.
I'll have a sandwich. Thank you. You have the last outpost mode, and then you have I think the last outpost mode is where you have one person playing as the space infantry and one person playing as the the aliens, and you're kind of competitive against one another. And then you also have the horde mode where you can take up to 2 players and you're defending a base. You don't create like a mission, you create like a base and your squads, and you're trying to see how long you can last against an endless horde of enemies coming at you, which is a super cool way to play it. And maybe I'll try that eventually as well. I think that would be kind of a cool thing to do. But we're going to be playing the campaign. And yes, I'm getting a sandwich for lunch. I told her 3 times, sandwich. I don't know what she was waiting for. But anyways, so that is, so you have your standard play, you have your combat, you have your campaign play, and you have your last outpost, and you have the horde mode. And it shows you all your information. So we're gonna just select the mission, select the level, to draw. So we drawn and played our stat op cards, which were those 2 extra cards we drew, the XP one and the platoon headquarters support. We're gonna spend our reinforcement points again, 110. We're going with the base number, and then we're gonna select our squad, which we do, and then we're gonna select our resources, which we did. And then we are going to our operations phase. So let's go to our operations phase. So first thing you do in your operations phase, advance the turn marker. Notice the turn marker does not start on the map. It starts off the map. We're going to go to turn number 1. Boom. Now we're going to move our squad. So we're going to try and move our squad outside from outdoors. We just landed. Hovercraft has dropped us in. Boom. We are here, our squad, all these guys. We have squad leader, assault team A, assault team B, fire team A, heavy weapons, our scientists, and our demolists are all part of our squad. These guys are not really combat units. This guy's not really a combat unit. So we really only have 4 combat units. Now these guys can substitute if we get a whole bunch of these regular squad killed. You have to have at least 3 squads available. So let's say these 2 get killed. Then if those 2 are killed, then one of these 2 can step in and do an attack. As you can see, they do have stats on them. But normally they just stay in the back out of the way. And what I'm going to do is put all of our guys that attack up at the top and all the guys that don't attack down at the bottom. That might make things a little easier. All right. So, advance the turn marker, move your squad. So, we're moving from here. We're going to try and get into building number 1. We'll call this building number, nope, this is building number 2. It does say that. Building number 1 is up top. We're going to go to building number 2. We're going to try and make it into this area. We need security. We need to have 3 successes in security. So, we're basically, think of it, we're trying to hack into the building, try and break in. It's raining. And you can see, just think of the Alien movie, right? If you remember the Aliens movie, right? If you're thinking of that, right, you'll have a good idea of what the heck we're doing. And so we're using our little torch, and we're trying to break into the building, and we need security 3. So we look at everyone we brought and find out who has security 3. We only have 1 person that has security of 3. Now, when they give us, they will tell us what their level is. Lower is actually better. So this guy is just barely any good at security. He's a 5. The reason lower is better is because every multiple that you roll of it is equal to 1 success. So that means if I have a level of 5, right? If I roll 0 to 4, on my dice, if I roll a 0 to 4, because I have a level of 5, I have 0 successes. I did not succeed at all. 0 successes. If I roll a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, I have 1 success. Because 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, when I divide my 5 into that, I'm going to get 1 with a remainder. and you always just discard your remainders. If I was able to roll a 10 total, and I divide it, then I'm going to end up with 2 successes. That's where your critical successes comes in, right? So you think if I roll a 20 on a 20-sided dice and I get my critical success, critical hit, I'm going to get 2 successes on that. So lower is better because now if I have, say, a 2 skill level, right? If I roll a 0 or 1, I have 0 successes. If I have a 2 or a 3, I have 1 success. If I have a 4 or 5, I have 2 successes. If I have a 6 or 7, I'm going to have 3 successes. So lower is better in this game because based upon your skill level, the higher the dice roll, the more successes you're going to get. So in our case, our security, we only have one guy. He is a level of 5. So we are going to roll again. You would normally, in the normal game, you would get 2d6. If you were doing it my way, which is the smart way, you're just going to take a 20-sided dice. You're going to use your little system, and you're going to find out what we roll. So we're trying to get in there. Turn number 1. We're trying to break in. How far do we get to break? Oop, come here, dice. And here we go. We rolled a 10. What is a 10? A 10 is equal to a 3. 3 is security 5. So we divide 3 by 5. We end up getting 0 point whatever. So that's 0 successes. So our guys are trying to break into the building and are very bad at it. And we only have one guy that can actually try to hack through the security system. Thanks. And that's all we have. We don't have anybody else that does anything. Oh, that's not true. I'm sorry. The first thing you always do, what the hell am I thinking? Right? The first thing you always do is you roll for your squad leader and you see whether or not he's able to help with whatever you're trying to do. He has a command of 4. So we're going to roll this. He rolled a 12. A 12 is a 4. So our squad leader basically gets a command token. I'm just going to use this as a command token for now. And he's able to help someone by adding 1 to whatever the dice is they roll. So in this case, our demonologist, he rolled a 3. So plus 1 from the squad leader would take it to a 4. 4 is still not high enough. So we have 0 successes in our attempt to break in this building. Great. We need 3 successes. We could be here a while. That's it. Turn 1 is over because we didn't do much. We go back to the location we were at and we try again. We go to turn number 2. Hopefully we will do better this time. Let's roll again. We need at least 1 success. First thing we're going to do, see if the squad leader can help. Can the squad leader help? He rolls a 3. No, he got a 1. He needs to get at least a 4 on the dice. He didn't get a 4. What's that?
I don't know.
Any door. Okay, sorry. I got a box that came in and I have no idea what it is. All right, so let's see. So we're in turn 2. The squad leader, not high enough, so he's not going to be able to help. We're going to look at our demonologist again here. And he rolls a 7, which is a 2. So 2, again, is not high enough. He needs to get a 5. He's not able to do anything. So this time, we're going to break down and we're going to use some intel. So the intel, what you use the intel for is it basically gives you 2 successes. You can see the 2 little successes are intel, right? So basically, you can think of it as our squad leader is calling up to our drop ship and saying, "Hey, scout the area for us. Find out if there's you see any areas that have been blown open, any doors, any windows, somewhere we can break in, blah, blah, blah." So we're actually going to get 2 successes here. That's what we're going to use, and we're going to be done. So you can see the turns are going to go by really quickly if you can't do anything. We're on to turn number 3 already. Let's do this. All right, same thing. Now, normally we'll probably have several guys that will be able to help in different situations, like advancing. Like if we were trying to get in this one, advance, you can see we have 1, 2, 3 guys that would be able to try and help. Unfortunately for us, we don't have much in security, so we're really in trouble if we can't get this. All right, so next time, turn number 3, once again, we're going to try and break in. Rolled a 10 for our squad leader. He needs to get a 4, and he rolled a 3, so no success. So a squad leader trying to help out. Maybe he can contact the drop ship, whatever you want to think of. So we're back to our demonologist now. Come on now. He rolls an 8, which is not high enough. Again, he only rolled a 2. He needs a 5. Bad. So, do we waste another turn trying to break in? You're gonna waste some turns. Basically, these numbers and these different locations are basically there to slow us down. So, we can't waste a lot of time just trying to break in the one building. I could use another intel. You know what? We're gonna use another intel. Boom. So we've made it in. We have 4 successes. We only need 3 successes. We have broken in to this location. All right, Farnley. Breaking in. Unfortunately, our 2 intel are gone away. We're done. We're not using this anymore. Now, we got to roll to see if we have an event in this location. Our event here is in the top left-hand corner. It tells us out of 5+, we have event A based upon our enemy, which we'll look at when we do get one. So we roll a die, right? And if we roll 5 or 6 on a 6-sided dice, or we roll a 14 or higher on a 20-sided dice, we're going to have an encounter. Let's see if we have an encounter. Of course we do. Why wouldn't we now have an encounter? The dice finally decided to roll higher than an 8. Why did it wait till now? Well, we rolled a 19. A 19 is basically, we just rolled a 6 on the 6-sided dice. Oof. So that means we have an encounter. So, boom, 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 boom. I guess my sandwich is going to have to wait. I was going to hope to get through 1 or 2 of these nodes before we took a break. But we're going to our cybers now. And you can see it says 5+A. So we're going to roll on column A to find out how many guys we're fighting. Again, on a critical failure, that would be a 0. If we roll 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, it's just like rolling a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And then a 7 would be a critical hit. Let's see if we can roll low on this dice now. No! We rolled a 20. Of course we did. Why wouldn't we roll a 19 and then a 20 when we're looking at enemies? Of course we would. Which means, of course, that is a critical success. Which means first building, first thing we're doing, we're up against Class A 4 drones. We're going to get 4 drones. We're going to be fighting 4 drones here in a second. Now, we have to decide, what is our range? Do they know we're there? Are we in melee? Are we in... What are we in? Let's find out. We roll a 7. A 7 is a 2. We rolled a 2. A 2 is M. They're in melee range. Basically, we blow open the door, and they're standing there, and big melee fight ensues. And of course, some special rules on how to set them up if you're at alert level 2 or higher. We are not at alert level 2 or higher. We're at alert level 1, thank God. So we're going to be fighting 4 drones. Here is a drone, here is a drone, here's a drone, here's a drone. We have 4 drones. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, first thing we're going to do is roll for the squad leader. Again, he needs to come up. He rolls a critical failure. So this is getting even better. This could be the one and only mission that we actually take with these guys. Because at this rate, wow. So critical failure, which means he gets no command to help anyone because our guy is freaked out. Think of our movies such as like what is it, Band of Brothers, where they're assaulting the city of Foy and the leader freezes up. That's what happened to our squad leader right there. He freezes up. He can't make any decisions. It's up to our guys now to try and figure out what the hell we're going to do. Which means we can't do anything like surprise or anything like that because our squad leader isn't able to provide that. So, we're going to go with our heavy weapons team. It is a melee of 5. He needs a 5 or higher. He rolls the critical! Nice! He rolls the critical success. So, we're going to put that down as a critical. Our fire team, he has a melee of 4. We need an 11 is a 4. Yes. Success for him. Our assault team, melee, he is a 3 of melee. 18, which is a 6. And again, because they have a melee of 3, 3 into 6 is 2. So that is 2 successes. Who would have thunk, but I'm going to need more. I'm going to need more of these little tokens. Boom, boom, boom. Who would have thunk I'm going to need? Alright, I'm just going to drag a couple of these out. Different colors. One for us, one for the enemies. So we're kind of orangish colors, so we're going to use that. And then they're kind of reddish colors, so we'll use the red for them. Alright, so we had a critical success for heavy weapons, so that's going to be 2. You scored a kill. A hit. You scored 2 successes. And now for this guy, Assault Team B. He has a critical failure. Another critical failure. Wow. That is not good at all. Now the AI, they're going to attack. They're a melee of 5. So let's roll for the drone. So basically on a 5, they need a 14 or higher for a hit. So we'll go with number 1, miss. Number 2, miss. Number 3, 13 is a 4. That's not high enough. Sorry, buddy. One more. 8. No. So they all missed. Wow. We got super lucky there. So we roll for combat. Now we assigned wounds. Now you can see on the cyber drones, each of them have 2 basically hit points, 2 life levels, whatever you want to call them. And they have an armor of 2, which means bulwark, armor, so they can block a wound if they roll a 3 or higher, which kind of sucks. So We're going to assign 3 wounds to this guy, and we're going to assign 2 wounds to that guy. Because I want this guy, I want to kill at least one of them. And even if he blocks one of them with his armor, it's still enough to kill him. So this guy is dead. That was our critical hit from our heavy weapons team. Critical hit from our heavy weapons team. Takes this guy out. Goodbye, jerk. All right. Now this guy, he's got to resist our attack because he's only got 2 hit points. He needs to roll a 3 or higher. So 3 or higher is going to be 8 or higher on this dice. So we would like to roll anything lower than an 8. Nope. So he's resisted. So he's only going to take 1 damage. Ooh. Alright, so that's the end of the first round of combat. They didn't do any damage to us. We did some pretty good damage to them. Now, round 2. Now, before we start round 2, we roll back on our chart over here. And we are currently set in melee range. So let's find out, does it stay in melee range? We rolled an 11. 11 is a 4. 4 is, nope, they backed off. We're now in firing range. So basically you can see we either are firing at them or we're meleeing them. So right now they backed off. We are now going to fire range. There's a token to show whether we're in melee or fire range. We've gone to fire range. So that's actually better for them because they hit on a 4 or better, which kind of sucks. We don't want them hitting us. That would be bad. All right, we're going to start with our guys. Heavy weapons. Firing is a 2, so we can get several successes here if we roll high. So rolling high in the heavy weapons team would be good. And of course, we rolled a 4. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. We have a new round. Our squad leader might be able to come in and help us. Let's see if our squad leader... He rolls a 4. So no, he's still cowering in the corner. Somebody needs to slap him and wake his ass up. So he fails. Our heavy weapon guy with 0 successes. This is great. Now, fire team. Attack of 3. Rolls a 10. That is an attack of 3, so 1 success. We have the assault team. Attack, a fire of 4. Rolled a 14. That is a 5. That is a success. Assault team B. 11, which is a 4. That's what they needed. So each one of them, 1 success each. Let's go to the enemies now. Firing, they need a 4. 11 or higher. So does this guy succeed in a hit? Misses. This guy here. 20. Critical. So he's going to do 2 points of damage to somebody. We'll assign that here in a second. And last but not least, a 9, which is a 3. So that is a miss. So 2 of the 3 missed. Unfortunately, 1 got a critical hit. Now, critical, you notice most of our guys only have 2 hit points. 2, 2, 2, and 2. So 2 would kill it. Fortunately for us, we can immediately use a med kit to get rid of a wound. So we are going to get rid of this wound. And we're going to assign 1 wound to Assault Team B. All right, now let's assign our 3 wounds that we did here. Boy, that armor sucks. We're gonna assign 2 and 2, or 1 here and 2 here, and hopefully they both fail their check. Let's see. So he needs to check. Succeeds on a 3 or higher. That's 8 or higher on this dice. He'll succeed and get rid of that wound. He does. Damn. And this guy, No, he does not. He rolled a 2. So this guy is dead. So we're getting rid of him slowly but surely. We're getting rid of him. Doesn't help when we rolled a million of them to fight right off the bat. Do have grenades. Grenades would actually help us by doing between 1 and 6 points of extra damage. We are moving on to the next. So this is not part of a round. All this combat happens in one round. So you have multiple turns of combat in a round. Oh, right. We did have a heavy battle suit that we could have used. And we have these command points. Right. We need to be able... Oh, I should have used those. That's all right. We're okay. Next round, let's see if our squad leader decides to wake up after our squad has killed 2 of these guys so far. 20! Critical success. He has 2 abilities to activate. So basically, with his command, he can add 1 to somebody's dice roll. So, if they need a 4 but they only roll a 3, he can give them a +1. Or, if they need a 3 and they roll a 5, we could make it a 6 to give them 2 damage. So, squad leader finally decides to wake up. Yay! On the critical success. Now, we have to check where we are going to be. We're currently in fire mode. And we rolled a critical. So it's going to stay in fire mode. Unfortunately for us, again, they do better in fire mode. So let's start with our heavy weapons. Fire mode. He is a 2. Come on, roll high for this guy, please. Roll the 14. That is a 4. So again, 2 goes into 4 twice. So 2 successes. We'll take 2 successes. Thank you very much. Fire team A. Fire mode of 3. He rolled a 2, which is a 1, so he misses. Assault team. Firing at a 4. He rolls a 12. That is a 4. That is a success. 1 success for you. Assault team B is a 4. He rolled a 4, which is a 1. So even with the bonus, isn't going to help. Damn. So 3 successes again. Alright, so the cyber drone needing a 11 or higher. He rolls a 7. That's a miss. Cyber drone number 2. 1. Critical failure. Nice. So once again, we are going to assign those 2 wounds. You know what? Let's assign those 3 wounds. So even if his armor blocks this one, boom, he's still going to die. Let's get rid of that guy. So we have 1 wounded guy left. These 2 go away because we didn't get a chance to use them. Our squad leader is going to try again. A 12. That is a success. Can help somebody. All right. Now we need to see where we are. We are currently in fire mode. Rolled an 8, which is a 2. A 2 is staying in fire mode, according to the little chart over there. I'm not going to keep bringing up the sheet every time to show you guys. You just have to believe me. It's a fire mode, so we are firing. He's a 2. Come on, roll a 6 for this, or roll this 6 attack. 8. 8 is a 3. We're going to add 1 to his result to make it a 4. So 2 goes into 4. 2 again. That's going to be 2 successes. Fire team A is a 3. And he rolls a 6. So that is 2 successes. That's going to be enough to kill that guy. So I'm not going to continue rolling for no reason. The question is, does this guy get to kill one of us before he dies? He has a 4. He rolls a 17. That is a 6. So he does 1 damage to us. We are going to assign it to nothing, as we're going to use another med kit. Prevent that damage. No. Better yet, we're going to save our med kit. we're going to use our heavy battle suit. Boom. Our heavy battle suit. And we did enough damage to kill this guy. Boom. He is DEAD, dead. Goodbye. Good night. I'll see you later. These guys are no joke. As I mentioned in the beginning, you guys can adjust the difficulty of the campaign based upon all of the different enemies. And you can see there's the void spiders, there's the big boss, there is Gravitank, there's another big boss, there's the Orders, there is the Dark Faith, there is the Mercenaries, there's the Cyber Sentinels, there's the Dark Roots, there's the Chthonians, there's the Beastmasters, there's the Battle Droids, there's the Armored Buildings, there's the Mutants, there's the Titans, there's the Flesh Eaters, and the Flesh Eaters Xenotype. Oh, and I think, is that it? I think that's it. There you go. Based upon, and of course, the Cybirds. All right, so not too bad. We fought 4 of those dudes because, of course, we had to roll the critical success on how many guys we're fighting. And we only ended up taking 1 wound, 1 official wound. We could have blocked it with one of these heavy battle suits. It's okay. We're probably going to be taking some wounds as we go. So we've got 4 med kits left. We've got a grenade and some intel. Took us 2 intel to get into that damn thing, which is not good. And it took us 3 turns. But that is the end of our activation in there. Now, because we had the encounter, because we've had the encounter in there, we cannot have an encounter in there anymore. There's actually a token for that. Where are they? Here they are. Where if you don't use the events, you can leave this as a... So if you ever go out and then come back into that location, you can roll to see if they have the event. But once you have an event, you flip this over and you can no longer, you won't have any event in there. It's going to be safe for us to travel in and out of this area. We've killed the guys that were there. We now know that the cyborgs were the ones that are keeping our scientists from contacting us. They're up to no good. We're going to be fighting, and fortunately for us, we're going to be mostly just fighting drones, as you can see here, because we're in Class A. Now, there is Class B events, so actually there might be a case of, yeah. Okay. So, it's the end of round 3. We're going to round 4 now. So, we can travel, I think... This is one of the 3 locations that we need to get to. We need to get to this one. We need to get to this one over here. And we need to get to this one over here. So we're going to try and travel over here. But we need science of 3. So we only have 1 science. And that guy is a 3. So could take us several turns to break into this. Going to the med lab. Get to the med lab. Everyone to the med lab. So let's see if we can do. So first things first. Always, I got to remember this. You always know for the squad leader to see if he can give his little boost. Right? It's like 3 times he's critical have failed so far. Our squad leader is the worst squad leader in the universe. Oh my god. But let's hope our scientists can do something here. 17 is a 6. Again, our science is a 3. 3 goes into 6 twice. 2 successes. So we are going to put 2 successes on here. We need 3. Only 1 more. Boom. Up to turn number 5. Turn number 5 already. You see the turns go by quick here. We're still trying to break in. We're still trying to find the science lab. Where is the science lab? It's in this building somewhere. We need to find it. And our scientist is like, all right, it's down in the lower level. Down at the end of the hallway, make a right. At the T-junction, make a left. 20! Critical success! That's 2 more, automatically 2 more. We only needed 1 more. Our scientist is the best scientist on the planet! The best scientist ever! We've made it in there. Boom. Now, again, we need to find out if we're having our encounter. This is where we would like a low number, Mr. Dice. A low number. Because if we roll a 5 or higher, we're going to be on column B to find out what we're up against. That could be drones and guardians. And that would be bad. Drones and guardians are not my friends. We just want to get to the science lab, get the scientists, and move out. Let's go. Roll low. That is what is it? It is a 3. A 3 is a 1. That is not a 5 or higher. So, we did not encounter the event. So, we're going to leave this there. Which means if we leave it and then come back, we can always have a problem. Now, here's where we run into problems. You can see there's a dotted line up to this location. And then here there's a dotted line, but there's also a lock symbol on here. What does that mean? Well, let's look up there. It says when a squad attempts to a route that contains a lock symbol, before moving, roll a die. And on a 3 or higher, right? If you roll a 3 or higher, and a blast door comes down and blocks those two, you can't go that way. So the question is, do we risk going up here so we can use the shortcut across here over into this location, or do we just back out, back to the beginning, and cut down the other passageway? We're going to be going through more enemy locations to get down there. But we could end up going here and then being stuck because that's the only way to go. And if the blast door comes down, then we're going to come back this way. Now, if we had already encountered this location, if we already encountered it, then we might as well come this way. Because if we come back this way, then we couldn't encounter it again. But because we didn't encounter this location, if we go here and our blast door blocks our path, then we got to come back this way, which means we might have this encounter after all. Or do we just say, screw it and not go that way? Decisions. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take it the long way. We're going to take it the long way. We're going to go back. So on to turn 6. We're going to go back here. Boom. We can automatically go in that location because we've cleared that location. We've already had the encounter, so we don't have to worry about that. We're going to have to get through the security door, though, which is going to take some time to break through the security. But we're going to do it. We're going to go this way. We're going to go through security. Security, again, we need a 5 or higher, which is a 14 or higher on this die. So we're on to turn 7. Can the squad leader help us? 6. No, he cannot. So it's all up to our security guy. We need 14 or higher, and we rolled an 18, believe it or not. So that is a 6. But again, 5 into 6 is still only 1, so that is a success, though. We will take a success. We only need 2 successes. So let's hope we can roll another success. On to turn number 8. 7. Oh, we're going to check our squad leader. So 7 for him is only a 2, so no help. Check our guy. He needs at least 14. Come on. 5. No. Nothing, no help. No success. On to turn number 9. Check our squad leader again. 20. Critical success. He can give 2 boosts to this guy. So good lord, all he needs is a 3 or higher. He rolled a 7, which is a 2. Unfreaking believable. So the 2 turns into a 3, which turns into a 4. But a 4 is not good enough. He needs a 5. We need somebody better in security. Now we did have another. Who else do we have that was good in security? We had our technician, which is really good in security. But again, it would have cost us an extra 10 points. We didn't have enough 10 points to bring them. Right? We didn't have enough points to bring them. All right. Turn 10. Here we go. Squad leader. That is a 10. That is a 3. Not high enough. He needs a 4. Demonologist needs a 14. No. Failed again. Again, I could use some intel, but I don't want to. On to turn 11. Squad leader. Nice. That is a boost. Come on. Roll. 14. There's our next success. So we've made it in there now. Wow. Finally. On turn 11. Now, 5 or higher. We got us an encounter. That is a 14 or higher. That's a 7. No encounter. Once again, we will not view the event. Now we're going to try and leave this location and come over here. We need a search of 1, which is our scientist. He's got a 3. So we only need a 1. But if we don't make it, it's going to force us back here, which means we might have this encounter. So we want to get this as soon as we can. So search of 1. So does our squad leader help with our search? He does not. Our scientist, search of 3. He needs to roll an 8 or higher. 15, enough. So we don't need to come back here. We can go into this location. Nice. 5 or higher will have an encounter there. 5 or higher, that is a 14. That is an 8, no encounter. So once again, we're getting pretty lucky after our really bad encounter at the door. We didn't have anything here yet. We didn't have anything here. Now we didn't have anything here, but now we've got to go to here, and you can see this. 2 or higher will be an encounter, and it'll be in section B, but we need to get there, and we're going to get there next episode. So thanks everyone for coming out. I've got some lunch sitting here waiting on me. Yum, 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 sandwich time. So we are going to have some sandwich. We'll be back for part 2 next time here on Space Infantry. As we have completed 1 objective, we need 2 more objectives to get all 3 done. We are on turn 11. On turn 12 or so, we should be able to get into the security. So it'll give us like half of the, about 13, 14, 15 turns to get that last location. But that's in another building. So we have to manage this. We only have 1 intel counter left. We're going to have quite a thing to do, and it also depends on if we can take the shortcuts from building 1 into building 2 as well, or are we going to have to go along the long way? Hopefully you'll join us for part 2 of Space Infantries. Any thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, write them down, and don't forget, if you enjoyed this, leave us a thumbs up, leave us a comment if you want to see more of Space Infantries. And we'll see everyone next time. Until then, take care, everybody.